Today we shall discuss regarding the reactive power control in electric power system. First module is theory of load compensation. This is according to the VTU syllabus. The subject code is 18EE 735. Okay. In this chapter, we will discuss about the compensation term and the compensating devices, that is a static compensator, series compensator, and also active compensation, passive compensation, and also we will discuss about the synchronous condensers. Okay, and also harmonics power, reactive power coordination, and also reactive power planning. Okay. Before going to the subject, first we should know the what are the topics in first module. Okay, requirement for compensation, objectives, and they have asked mm, ideal compensator, acceptance standards for quality of supply, specification of a load compensator, power factor correction, voltage regulation, and load balancing problem. Okay. For this, they have given T1. That means you need to refer textbook 1, and R1 means you need to refer reference 1. Okay, these are the textbooks they have given, and these are the reference books. I'll provide link in the description box. You can download the notes. Now we shall come to the main topic, that is first module, theory of load compensation. Okay, requirement for compensation. Why we require the compensation? Okay, in for example, if it is a ideal AC power system, the voltage and frequency will be constant, and it is free from harmonics, and power factor will be unity. Okay, it does not depends on the size of the load, or does not depends on the characteristics of the load. It will be, these parameters will be constant, and the power factor will be unity, and harmonics will not be there. Okay, this it does not depend upon the size or characteristics of the consumer loads. Okay, it is a independent. If it is an ideal system, how it is designed means it is designed for the particular voltage, for a given supply voltage, rather than adequate performance, unpredictable range of a voltage. It may be increased and unpredictable range of voltage. Okay, and what is the quality of supply? What do you mean by quality of supply? Maintaining the constant voltage, frequency, and the power factor unity. These are the three important points in quality of supply. Okay, if we want to express in terms of numerical terms, then the specification of such quantities has the maximum fluctuation, that is it may be a voltage, it may be a frequency. Okay, in the maximum fluctuations in RMS supply voltage averaged over a stated period of time. Okay, next is the specification of this kind can be made more precise through the use of statistical concepts, and these are the especially helpful in problems where voltage fluctuations can take place very rapidly. In arc furnace, there will be a more voltage fluctuations. It will occur within a minor seconds. Okay, like that. In three-phase system, the degree to which the phase currents and voltages are balanced must also be included in the notion of quality of supply. In order to get a quality of supply, compensation is required. Next topic is objectives in load compensation. Objectives. What are the main objectives in load compensation? Load compensation is the management of management of reactive power to improve what? To improve the quality of supply in AC power system. The term what we say that load compensation is used everywhere. Where it is used means where the reactive power management is affected for a single load, that is or it is a group of loads. Okay, the compensating equipment usually being installed on the consumer's own premises near to the load. Okay, it is installed where it is installed means it is installed near to the load. Okay, why we install means to improve the quality of supply. Okay, where we use the load compensation means where the inductive loads will be there. Okay, when inductive load is there, then it will observe more reactive power, then we need a compensation there. Okay, what are the three main objectives here? Power factor correction, improvement of voltage regulation, and load balancing. Okay, one by one we shall discuss. First is a power factor correction. It means generating reactive power. Okay, power factor correction means generating reactive power as close as possible to the load which requires it. Okay, power factor correction means generating the reactive power which it should be compensating device should be close to the load. Okay, because if it is far from load, then again some losses may occur. So it is a better, the power factor correction means it is a generating reactive power. It should be close as possible to the load, okay, which requires it, rather than supplying it from a remote power stations. Okay, rather than supplying it means if load is this one, okay, then compensating device should be near to the load. Okay, compensating device should be near to the load, not it is somewhere else. Okay, if it is far from here, then it will take time to compensation, and also it some losses may occur. Okay, so instead of supplying it from a remote power station, better to install near to the load. Okay, most industrial loads have a lagging power factor, because the industry means inductive, there will be a inductive loads. Okay, because the inductive loads will absorb more reactive power. That you need to remember. Okay, the most industrial loads having a lagging power factor, that will absorb a reactive power. Okay, the load current therefore it will tends to be larger than is required to supply the real power alone. Okay, what happens if go on start observing the reactive power, the load current what it tends to be a larger than is required to supply the real power alone. Next, only the real power is ultimately useful in energy conversion. Actually, this reactive power we call it as worthless power or useless power, but it is required for the inductive loads. What they are saying is real power is useful in energy conversion, and the excess load current represents a waste to the consumers. Okay, excess load current represents a waste to the consumers, who has to pay not only for the excess cable capacity to carry it, but also for the excess joule loss produced in the supply cables. Yeah, what they are saying is only real power is useful in energy conversion, but here the excess load current, what we use a excess load, that is a waste to the consumer, but he has to pay for that. Okay, he has to pay for that, and not only for the load current, he has to pay for the, if it is excess load current, then the cable capacity will be high. Okay, so for that also he need to pay, and also he need to excess joule losses produced, okay, in the supply cables, that is also you need to overcome that. Okay, the supply utilities also have a good reasons for not transmitting unnecessary reactive power from generators to loads. What they are saying is supply utilities. They have a good reasons why they are not transmitting unnecessary reactive power from generators to loads. Their generation and distribution networks cannot be used at a full efficiency. Okay, and the control of voltage in the supply system, it will be more difficult to, if we supply the unnecessary reactive power, it is difficult to maintain the constant voltage, it is difficult to maintain the full efficiency. Okay, supply tariff to industrial customers. You might have observed in the industry side, they will use capacitor banks for power factor correction. Okay, instead of paying penalty, they go with the Power factor correction devices. It may be a capacitor banks, it may be a static VAR devices, okay, synchronous condenser, it may be a series capacitor, shunt capacitor, okay, like that. It depends upon the load, okay. Supply tariff to industrial customer almost always penalize low power factor loads and have done so for many years. Okay, in before days they have paid for industry side from government they have put penalty for industry. Okay, so they used to pay at that situations, but nowadays they are using the power factor correction devices to instead of paying now they are using the power factor correction devices. Okay, next is a voltage regulation. In all the cases, variation in demand for reactive power causes variation in the voltage at the supply point. Okay. If variation in demand, nowadays we are using day-to-day life electronic devices. Okay, it is increasing only, not it is decreasing. Okay, for everything from kitchen to education, we are using electronic devices, right? So variation, the demand is increasing. So if variation in a demand for reactive power, industry side, okay, in the industry side also the manufacturing is increasing. So the demand for reactive power causes variation in the main supply. Okay, in the voltage at the supply point, which will that is which can interfere with the efficient operation of all plants connected to that point. Okay, it may affect to the all the points which is connected to the main point. Okay, it that may cause a interference between loads and uninterruptible, okay, isolation, like that. Okay, some problems may occur during that situations. Power quality issues it may occur. Okay, so the possibility of interference between load belonging to different consumers, if the one generation is there or one industry is there, if it is connected to many other supplies. Okay, we have discussed regarding transmission and distribution, right? If it is one generation, it may be connected to different stations and transmission distribution you'll get. So if there will be many connections, if one if it causes variation in the voltage main which is connected to the main point, that will also get affected. Okay, so compensating devices have a vital role to play in a maintaining supply voltage within the intended limits. That means within the limits. Okay, the most obvious way to improve voltage regulation would be strengthen the power system by increasing the size and number of generating units and by making the network more densely interconnected. Okay, what they are saying is to improve the voltage regulation, we can use more generating units. Now, if we the capacity is 1 kilowatt, now we can use another generation, and that is we can increase the generation by 2 kilowatt or 3 kilowatt. Okay, we should increase the generating units, number of generating units, because the demand is increasing. According to that, we need to improve the generation also. So in order to improve the voltage regulation, we need to go with that is increasing the size and number of generating units. Okay, it is much more practical and economic to size the power system according to the maximum demand for real power and to manage the reactive power by means of a compensator and other equipment which can be deployed more flexible than generating units. What they are saying is instead of going with the generating units, we can use a compensator. Okay, we can use because the in practical, in much more practical and economic, if we are, for example, to make a power factor correction, to make a voltage constant or voltage fluctuation, to reduce a voltage fluctuation, if we increase the generating unit, it will be a same cost, it may increase the cost. It should be in an economical way. So instead of going that, we can go with the compensation. Okay, what the to size the economic, to size the power system according to the maximum demand for real power and to manage the reactive power we can buy user compensator and other equipment which can be deployed, which is we can use that other equipments which will be flexible than the generating units. Okay, instead of going with the generating units, we can use a compensator or any other equipment, okay, which will be more flexible than the generating units and which make no contribution to fault levels. Okay, next is a load balancing. This is the main important nowadays, right? And because we can they are estimating the load day by day, but even though the estimated load is increasing only, and the generation should also increase. Okay, the most AC power system are three phase only, and it is designed for balanced operation, right? Unbalanced operation will give rise to a components of current in the wrong phase sequence. What happens if it is unbalanced operation? The components of a current will go in the wrong phase sequence. Such components can have undesirable effects, including additional losses in motors, generating units, oscillating torque in AC machines, increased ripple in rectifiers, and faults of or faults, we can say malfunction of several types of equipment, saturation of transformers, and excessive neutral currents. Okay, certain types of equipments depend on the balanced operation for suppression of a triplen harmonics. Most of the equipments will not work on an unbalanced condition. It may get totally damaged to the effect to the equipment. Next is the ideal compensator. Ideal compensator is a device, okay, which can be connected to at a supply point and which will perform the following three main functions. I have already said objectives of the ideal compensator, load compensator, that is similar. Okay, correct the power factor to unity, eliminate the voltage regulation, balance the load currents of phase voltages. Whether voltage regulation should be percentage of voltage regulation should be less or more, it should be less. Okay, as voltage regulation, if it is voltage regulation percentage is less, then we can say that losses is less. Okay, so here the ideal compensator will not be expected to eliminate harmonic distortion existing in the load current or the supply voltage. Okay, ideal compensator will not expected to eliminate harmonic distortion and it will not create any harmonics. Okay, itself will not generate any extra harmonics. Okay. The three main functions of the ideal compensator are interdependent, and the power factor correction, phase balancing themselves tend to improve voltage regulation. The ideal compensator can be specified more precisely, that is by stating that it must provide the ideal compensator must provide a controllable and variable amount of reactive power, that is according to the requirement of the load and without delay. Okay, first main important point is controllable and variable amount. How much we require amount of reactive power should be known. Okay, amount of reactive power according to the requirement of the load, and it should not get delay. Okay, without delay. Next is a present constant voltage characteristic at its terminals. Okay, next, be capable of operating independently in the three phases. Next is the burden of responsibility for providing compensation divides between supplier and consumer according to several factors, including the it may be the size, nature of the load, and any future extension project for it. Okay, the burden of responsibility for providing compensation, it depends, it will be divided between what, between a supplier and also consumer. Okay, it depends on the several factors. It may be at the size of the load or a size of the capacity, how much they require the reactive power, or how much they size of the load and nature of the load, also the characteristics of the load, how it will be. Okay, whether it is a voltage fluctuating plant or industry, like that. Okay, nature of the load is very important, and any future extensions. Okay, if it is generating only 1 kilowatt or one, if a load requires 1 kilowatt, if they increased we want still uh, 2 kilowatt, we require 2 kilowatt, then future extension projects there. Okay, so for that also compensation how much we should send, like that. Okay, so all these factors, the burden of responsibility for providing compensation, it depends upon the, it divides between the supplier and the consumer. Okay, next is a that is a acceptance standards for the quality of supply. The first objectional effect of supply voltage variations in a distribution system is the disturbance to the lighting level produced by the tungsten filament lamps, and degree to which variations are objectionable depends not only on the magnitude of the light variation but also on its frequency or rate of a change because of the sensitivity characteristics of the human eye. We can say that very slow variation of up to 3% may be tolerable, while the rapid variations caused by arc furnace or a welding plant can coincide with the maximum visual sensitivity and must be limited in a magnitude to 0.25% or less. Okay, in this what they are saying is the minimum. Okay, in for every equipment there will be a limitation, right? The standards they will mention in the label. Okay, plus or minus tolerance, this one, this voltage it can withstand what, how much it can withstand. Okay, so there are several types of loads which is sensitive. If it is a voltage fluctuation, the equipment get damaged. Okay, it is sensitive to supply voltage variations, especially computers, certain types of relays employed in control and protective schemes, induction motor, lamps of the discharge, and fluorescent types. Okay, you might have observed in homes, right? In home they will use a stabilizer. Why we use a stabilizer? If we, instead of using stabilizer, if we connect directly, if it is a voltage fluctuations in the supply side, whole TV get damaged or your fridge will get damaged. Okay, yeah, some parts, some equipments will be get damaged due to the over voltage or due to the under voltage, like that. Okay, it will happen. So those loads are will be sensitive, so the tolerance will be given for that. Okay, so what they are saying is tolerance for everything standard will be there. Okay, plus or minus tolerance, like that. In the case of the welding plant, the permitted voltage variation is inversely related to the sensitivity of the human eye to light fluctuations as a function of frequency. Here, these are the examples types of load and limits permitted in voltage fluctuations. Large motor starts 1 to 3% depending upon the frequency. Okay, and here, excavators, steel rolling mills, large thyristor-fed DC drivers, and these are the 1 to 3% at distribution voltages and half to 1.5 at transmission voltages, and welding plant 1 by 4 to 2% depending upon the frequency. Induction furnace, that is up to 1% depending on the time between step of a soft start. Okay, many industries or any if you equipment take, it depends on the load and the fluctuation will be, there will be for everything there will be a limit, right? Limit permitted, the manufacturer will, the fluctuation standards. Okay, voltage fluctuation standards, they will give the voltage fluctuation standards. If you take any electronic devices, plus or minus tolerance they will give, it can withstand this voltage. Okay, until that voltage only it can withstand. If it is increased, the whole equipment will be get damaged. Okay, next is specification of a load compensator, the parameter and factors which need to be considered when specifying a load compensator are summarized in the following list. Before going to the specification of load compensator, one more thing I want to say that you can do projects on these topics. Power quality issues. There are many power quality issues. That is a voltage sag, voltage swell, harmonics, and we can go with the power factor correction and voltage fluctuations. We can reduce. Okay, voltage regulation. Okay, load balancing. Okay, to balanced unbalanced load to balanced condition, how we can convert. For these topics we can do projects on these topics. Okay, in power system there were a lot of problems and a lot of issues. If you use a one problem, we can do a project on each topic. Okay, power quality means that is a huge topic. In that you'll get many problems, so you can do on harmonics. Okay, to reduce the harmonics, and we can do project on a harmonics and also the voltage sag and swell. Okay, like that power factor correction, we can go with the statcom. Nowadays they are using a dvr and a statcom. Okay, so you can do projects on this subject. Okay, in depth we shall read, because in further classes I'll explain about the capacitors, passive shunt compensation, series compensation, and also static compensation, that is synchronous condenser also. Okay, now we shall come to the topic, the main that is related to the syllabus, specification of a load compensator. Okay, the first is maximum continuous reactive power requirement, both observing and generating. Okay, how much it is, how much the load will observe and how much we should generate, the maximum continuous reactive power requirement. Okay, the how much we can give a continuous reactive power requirement which for load. Okay, both observing means how much the load will observe, and compensation to compensation device, how much we should generate. Okay, next, overload rating and duration. How much the load overloading, rating, and also duration. Okay, it may be a due to at that which situation, duration, that it will occur whether in seconds or minutes, like that. Okay, rated voltage and limit of voltage between which the reactive power ratings must not be exceeded. Okay, rated voltage and also limit of voltage between which the reactive power rating must not be exceeded. Frequency and its variation. Next, accuracy of voltage regulation required. Response time of the compensator for a specified disturbance. Okay, it may be whether it is a major disturbance or a minor disturbance. Response time for a specified disturbance, if any unbalanced condition, how much within a second it should react, whether it is a power factor, if it is reduced, then it should react within a second, like that. Response time of the compensator is more important for a particular disturbance. Okay, they should specify special control requirements. Okay, and special control requirements is needed if we are using any compensating device, or if we are using any protective devices. Protection arrangement for the compensator. Okay, if we are installing a transformer, or if we are installing any equipment in the substations or anything, then what are the protection arrangements we need to make for that. Okay, protection arrangements for the compensator, what we can do that. Okay, and also the coordination with other protection system which is connected to the compensator. Okay, in it will not only the compensator is connected to the load, because if any fault occurs in the load, the relay should react and the circuit breaker and then compensator. Okay, there will be a lot of protective devices which will be connected to the load, which will be linked with the load. Okay, so the protection arrangements for the compensator and also the coordination with other protection system should be that is including reactive power limits. Okay, it should not send more reactive power, like that. Okay, it should have a limit, reactive power limit if necessary. Okay, maximum harmonic distortion with compensator in service. Okay, That is a maximum harmonic distortion it may occur. It should reduce by using any protective devices like filters. They can go with that. Energization procedure and precautions. Okay, what are the precautions we need to take for the compensation device? Okay, and what is the procedure we need to maintain to overcome the issues? What if it occur? Okay, energization procedure, that is a capacitor if they are compensating energization, okay, storing or what we can say absorbing, okay. Maintenance, spare parts, provision for future expansion or rearrangement of plant. The energization procedure means if we are using capacitor, then for that we need to get charged. Okay, capacitor need to get charged, or it when it is a it should get charged in ohms. What in ohm usually what will do UPS when it is power supply, it will get charged. Okay, UPS what will be the procedure? Yeah, when it is a power supply, it will be get charged. When it is power supply when it is power supply is not there, it will be used. Okay, like that the energization of a compensation device also important, which procedure we need to do. Okay, what are the precautions we should take? That maintenance, spare parts, provision for future that is the expansion or rearrangement of plant. Okay, next, environmental factors also important. That is a noise level, indoor or outdoor installation, temperature, humidity, pollution, wind, seismic factors like leakage from transformer, capacitors, cooling systems. These are the environmental factors need to be considered. Okay, whether they should install the indoor or outdoor, it depends. What is the temperature there? Okay, and humidity, and what about the pollution, wind, and leakage from the transformer, capacitors, cooling system also important. Okay, performance with the unbalanced supply voltages and or unbalanced load. Okay, performance with unbalanced supply voltages and or with unbalanced load. Next is a cabling requirement and layout assess enclosure grounding. Okay, this is important. Which cable we will choose, and what about the layout of that, and also enclosure grounding also important. Next, reliability and redundancy of components. Okay, and the quality of what we are using the components, it should be a quality one. Okay, it should be a reliability, it should be a advanced components, like that. Next topic is power factor correction. Okay, this is a single phase load diagram. Okay, what we can say, single phase, it is a load of admittance. Okay, this is admittance, this is a conductance, and this is a susceptance. Okay, in this IS, that is the source current and the load current. Okay, here the phasor diagram, V and IL are phases. Okay, V and IL are phases, and from this diagram we can say that the inductive load, the load current consists of a resistive component and reactive component. The resistive component is in phase with V, and the reactive component is in quadrature with V. Okay, figure shows, that is a figure A shows the single phase load of admittance, that is YL is equal to GL plus JBL supplied from a voltage V. The load current is IL, and from this equation only, from this diagram only, we can write IL is equal to V into YL. Okay, YL value is GL plus JBL, that is what we have written here. That can be written as IR plus JIX. Okay, here V and IL are phases, and it is represented in the phasor diagram B. I have already said V is the reference phasor, and the current load current has a resistive component and reactive component. From and from this triangle we can say that is SL is equal to PL plus JQL, or we can write SL is equal to V into IL star. Okay, SL is equal to V into IL star, that is equal to V into GL plus JBL whole bracket star into V. Okay, if we multiply, so if this is a conjugate symbol, this will become minus, so V square GL minus JV square BL. Okay, that is equal to PL plus JQL. PL is active power, QL is reactive power, and SL is a apparent power. This is expressed in terms of kilowatt, and this is expressed in terms of kVAr, and this is expressed in terms of kVA. Okay, power factor can be written in terms of P divided by VI and kilowatt divided by kVA, or we can write P divided by S, true power divided by apparent power, or that is this is the IR is equal to IL cos phi L. Okay, in phasor diagram I have written that is IR is equal to VGL, that is equal to IL cos phi L, and IX is equal to VBL, that is equal to IL sin phi L. So for lagging loads, BL is negative and QL is positive by convection. The current IS is equal to IL supplied by the power system. Okay, the current IS is equal to IL, which is supplied by the power system. This will be larger than is necessary to supply the real power alone by the factor IL divided by IR, that is equal to 1 by cos phi L. So cos phi L is a power factor. So cos phi L is equal to PL divided by SL. What we can say, cos phi L is a fraction of the apparent power which can be usefully converted into other forms of energy. The principle of power factor correction is to compensate for the reactive power, that is to provide it locally by connecting in parallel with the load. A compensator having a purely reactive admittance, that is minus JBL, they will consider the susceptance. Okay, they are considering the susceptance which is connected to parallel with the load. Okay, the current supplied by the power system to the combined installation of the load and compensator becomes IS is equal to IL plus compensation term. This is a compensation term. Okay, compensation current. Okay, now it is connected. Usually what we can say, input is equal to output plus losses, like that. We are compensating the losses, so we are using the compensation term here. What we can write here, V into GL plus JBL, that minus IY is equal to what we can write, what I have said, the compensation admittance, that is we are using the susceptance minus JBL. Okay, so you'll get VGL, that is equal to IR. So from seeing this equation only we can say which is in phase with V, making the overall power factor to unity. Okay, IS is equal to IR. The compensator current is given by IY is equal to VY, that is equal to minus JVBL. So the apparent power exchanged with the supply system SY is equal to PY plus JQY. So V into IY star, that is equal to V into minus JVBL, JV square BL. Okay, we know the value of IY, I have substituted. So when you multiply V square JV square BL, conjugate is there, so minus will become plus. Py, if we substitute the Py is equal to 0, then Qy is equal to V square BL, that is equal to minus QL. The compensator requires no mechanical power input. It does not require any mechanical power input. Most loads are inductive, require capacitive compensation. At that situation, Vy positive, Qy will be negative. The reactive power rating of the compensator is related to the rated power, that is PL of the load. QL is equal to PL tan phi L. If you take this triangle, okay, this is phi. Okay, this is phi, this is SL, this is P, and this is Q, right? QL, PL. So from tan phi L is equal to, tan is nothing but opposite divided by hypotenuse. So what you will get, opposite QL divided by opposite by adjacent. So opposite by adjacent, you will get QL divided by PL. Okay. Next, to the rated apparent power SL of the load by QY is equal to SL into sin phi L. Sin phi L is opposite by hypotenuse. So opposite is QL, and the hypotenuse is S. So it is expressed in terms of compensation. Okay. So the weighted apparent power SL of the load by QI is equal to SL sin phi L, that is equal to SL square root of 1 minus cos square phi L. Okay. The rated current of the compensator is given by Qi divided by V, which will be equals to the reactive current of the load at rated voltage. The next topic is voltage regulation. Voltage regulation can be defined as the proportional change in supply voltage magnitude, which is associated with a defined change in the load current, okay, which should maintain the constant voltage, okay. The voltage regulation which should not change in supply voltage magnitude, okay. The voltage regulation which will occur the voltage magnitude change in supply voltage magnitude, and what we can say voltage regulation is given by E minus V divided by V. V is the being the reference phasor. Okay, here we have taken that is a E, and IS ZS is equal to RS plus JXS, and the load is same admittance. SL is equal to PL plus PQL. This is a load and a supply system. Okay. This is a phasor diagram which is a uncompensated. Okay, you can see the difference and change in voltage. That is delta V indicates the change in voltage magnitude. We can say this is a compensated phasor diagram. Delta V, delta VR, delta VX. This is a compensated term. In the absence of a compensator, the supply voltage change caused by the load current, that is IL, delta V is equal to what we can write E minus V, that is equal to ZS into IL. So what is ZS? RS plus JXS. What is SL? In last power factor correction also we have written that V into IL star. PL plus JQL. IL star is equal to PL plus JQL divided by V. IL is equal to what you will get PL minus JQL divided by V, because this is a conjugate term. Okay. So next delta V is equal to, we know the value of ZS and we know the value of IL. Just to substitute the values and separate the real terms and imaginary terms. So you will get this equation. This equation can be written as delta VR and J delta Vx. Okay. The voltage change has a component that is delta VR, which is in phase with V, and a component delta Vx which is in quadrature with V. By adding the compensator in parallel with the load, we can make, that is, it is possible to make E is equal to V. Okay, to make that voltage regulation 0 or to maintain the supply voltage magnitude constant at the value E in the presence of the load, Qs is equal to what we should consider here, Qs reactive source of that is a reactive source. Okay, source of a source side reactive power is equal to, that is a Qy compensation term, and the load. Okay, here we need to replace instead of QL as QS. Okay, E equals to delta V plus V. So what you will get, E square is equal to V plus RS into PL plus XS QS divided by V. We will consider the magnitude. Okay, so you will get the E square is equal to V plus RS into PL plus XS into QS divided by V. We have separated the imaginary part and we have added the V. Okay, here delta V plus V. So you will get this equation, required value of Qi. Okay, we need the value of Qi. How we can find out? If we solve, if the E equals to V. Okay, if this is the condition, if E equals to V, then we can find out the Qi. Okay, the required value of Qi is found by solving this equation for Qs. Okay, if we solve this equation for Qs with E equals to V, then we can find out Qi is equal to Qs minus QL. A purely reactive compensator can eliminate supply voltage variations caused by changes in both the real and reactive power of the load. And also purely reactive compensator which cannot maintain both constant voltage and unity power factor at the same time. Next is the approximate formula for the voltage regulation. Here, if the system is short circuited at the load bus bar, the short circuit apparent power will be equation 6, that is SSC is equal to PSC plus JQSC, that is equal to E into ISC star, that is equal to what we will write usually V divided by R, like that, E square divided by ZSC. Okay, what do you mean by ZSC? RS plus JS XS. ISC is the short circuit current and ZSC is equal to that is we have RS is equal to ZSC cos pi SC, that is equal to E square divided by SSC cos pi SC. XS is equal to ZSC sin phi SC, that is equal to E square divided by SSC sin phi SC. Okay. ZSC is equal to what here? What we can write? ZSC is equal to E square divided by SSC. That is what they have written here. Tan phi SC is equal to nothing but XS divided by RS. So here substituting in equation 3 for RS and XS, normalizing delta VR and delta Vx to V, assuming that E by V equals to 1, then delta VR divided by V equals to 1 divided by SSC PL cos phi SC plus QL sin phi SC. Okay. What we are considering the equation 3 which we have done this equation. Okay, this equation we are considering delta VR and delta Vx. Okay, that we are normalizing delta VR and delta Vx to V. So we are assuming that E by V equals to 1. Then what we get the equation? This equation will become here. Okay, 1 by SSC PL cos phi SC plus QL sin phi SC. Okay, delta VR divided by this equation 3, what it is there, RS into PL plus XS into QL, they have substituted. Okay, so what you will get? Delta VR divided by V, 1 divided by SSC PL into cos phi SC okay. Instead of RS, what we will get? Cos phi SC. RS, what we have written here? Cos phi SC divided by SSC. Okay. E square will become 1 because we have taken here 1. Okay. E by V as 1. Okay. Here we are normalizing. So 1 by SSC PL cos phi SC plus what about XS? That is what we have taken XS as sin phi SC. Okay. So similarly delta Vx divided by V, instead of that is XS we are writing sin phi SC, and instead of RS we are writing cos phi SC. Okay, for small changes in the load, then this equation will become equals to 1 by delta VR divided by V, 1 by SSC delta PL. Okay, changes in the load. So delta PL cos phi SC plus delta QL sin phi SC. We are neglecting this term because it will not get changed, lot of change in the load side or in the supply side. Okay. Delta Vx is ignored on the grounds that it tends to produce only a phase change in the supply point. It will not create any fault like that. So only a phase change in the supply point voltage. The bulk of the change, okay, the bulk of the change will occur in the delta VR. The change in the magnitude being represented by delta VR. If the supply resistance Rs is much less than the reactance Xs, it may be permissible to neglect the voltage changes caused by swings in the real power. We can say that if Rs is less than Xs, okay, then we can neglect the delta PL. Okay, if this is the condition, we can neglect this. Okay, delta PL. So what you get? Delta V divided by V, that is equals to delta VR divided by V, that is equals to delta QL divided by SSC sin phi SC. that is equals to again delta QL divided by SSC. There is the equation that what we have written in the starting, delta V is equal to E minus V. From this equation, what we know that delta V is equal to delta QL divided by SSC into V. Okay, that is what I have written here, E minus V. So when you these two are E is equal to V plus QL divided by SSC into V. When you take out common V, what you'll get 1 plus QL divided by SSC. Okay, what we can write here, V equals to E divided by 1 plus QL divided by SSC, that is equals to E into open bracket 1 minus QL divided by SSC. If QL is less than SSC, then if QL is less than SSC, this is the condition. Okay, if QL is less than SSC, this is a diagram on, that is a figure, supply system approximate voltage or reactive power characteristics. Okay, this is the difference between E, and this is a change in voltage magnitude, and this is a gradient, that is E minus E divided by SSC. This is a system load line. Okay, the classical load balancing problem. This is the next topic and last topic of module 1, that is a classical load balancing. The load balancing is important. Okay, the load balancing is important in power system. What do you mean by load balancing or load matching? We can say when there is a peak demand reserve refers to the peak demand. Okay, the use of various techniques by electrical power stations to store excess electrical power during a low demand periods and for release as demand rises. Okay, um, we should store the power when it is low demand. Okay, and we should release that power when it is high demand of load. Okay, high demand. Okay, classical load balancing, or we can say load matching. Okay, the traditional approach to load balancing is to connect equal nominal loads to each phase. Where load imbalance is unavoidable, the point of common coupling can be reinforced by a stronger supply, or the ending load mode is made isolation by insertion of a separate high voltage connection via transformers. The next in that only open loop balancing. Okay, in that only open loop balancing, the load here is represented as a delta connected one. If you know the diagram, you will understand this load is delta connected. Okay, the load what they have taken, YAB, YCA, YBC. Okay, and they have connected the compensation term across the load. You can see the susceptance. Okay, right? So these are the line currents, IA, IB, IC, and these are the phasor currents. Okay, these are the phasor currents. What we can write here from this diagram only, we can say that YAB, YBC, YCA. Okay, these are the admittance, right? These are the admittance which they have taken in the delta connected load, right? YAB, what we can write, GAB plus JBAB, YBC is equal to GBC plus JBC, YCA is equal to GCA plus JBCA. Okay, what is here basic idea of compensation, that is load compensation, is to connect three purely reactive elements, that is three purely reactive elements susceptance which is connected in parallel with the load. I have already said here it is connected in the parallel with the load, right? This is the load, this is the load, and it is connected in parallel. Okay, let us first compensate for the reactive portion of the load. Okay, first we shall compensate the reactive portion of the load, then it becomes the unity power factor. First we need to compensate the reactive power, then it will become the unity power factor. First, BYAB, that is equal to BYAB1 plus BYAB2. BYBC is equal to BYBC1 plus BYBC2. BYCA is equal to BYCA1 plus BYCA2. This is the equation 2. Okay. What is this values means? These values is similar but minus BAB minus BBC minus BCA. Okay, here the overall load is real. Okay, real part it is a, but it is still it is a unbalanced. To balance that, we need to determine these component values. Okay, we need to determine these three values. So since the load is delta connected, so here zero sequence current will be zero sequence current is zero. So we must therefore choose the susceptance in these values in such a way that the negative sequence current through the load is forced to zero. So the compensation algorithm which depends on the exact voltage applied. Okay, so to be pure positive sequence has that is to be the voltage is to be pure positive sequence and has a line to the line RMS value 1 per unit. So the sequence currents IA0, IA1, IA2 can then be found, that is obtained, that is first line current IA, IB, IC, that is IAB minus. From diagram only we can write IA is equal to, this is outgoing current and this is incoming current, IAB minus ICA. IB is equal to what we can write, okay, IB is equal to we can write IBC minus IAB, okay, because these two are outgoing, that is outgoing and this is incoming. So IB is equal to IBC minus IAB. IC is equal to what we can write, this is, it is continuously flowing, right? IC is equal to ICA minus IBC. Okay, so these are the three equations we will write. Next, the negative sequence of the line current can then be found in terms of the phase current as here IA2 is equal to 1 divided by square root of 3 1 minus A square IAB plus A square plus IBC A into ICA. The reactive components for balancing are connected in delta. Okay, for the reactive components, usually this what we have written is negative sequence of the line current, which is in terms of phase current. The reactive component for balancing, which is connected in delta, first we shall assume that VAB is equal to 1, VBC is equal to A square, VCA is equal to A. Then what happens here, the negative sequence component for the line current that is flowing through the added compensation for these terms can be found as IA2 is equal to 1 divided by square root of 3. We can, instead of writing IAB, we have written in terms of compensation, that is VAB into BYAB2, that is because we have added a compensation here. So J into A square into VBC BYBC2 plus J A VCA BYCA2. So if we add this VAB is equal to 1, VBC is equal to A square and VCA is equal to A. So what you will get here? Here VAB is equal to 1 it will become, and here VBC value is A square. A square it will become A to the power 4, but A to the power 3 is equal to 1. So you will get A. Here A into A you will get A square. Okay, this equation must cancel the negative sequence current due to the load conductance. Okay, so that is a, since load is delta connected, uh, so what you'll get, 1 divided by square root of 3 1 minus A square J B by A B 2 plus J A B by B C 2 plus J A square B by C A 2 plus 1 by 3 1 minus A square G A B plus A G B C plus A square G C A, that is equal to 0. Okay, we have added the conductance part here. These two should be equals to 0. Okay, and we should make 0. The positive sequence of the balancing compensator is, that is first positive sequence IA1 is equal to 1 by square root of 3 1 minus A JB by AB. We have used here VAB, but VAB value is 1, and here if we use VBC value A into A square it will become 1, and again if we use A square into A it will become 1. So here you'll get the equation. So instead of writing this equation, I have written directly here this equation. Okay. So we want the compensated load to be unity power factor and the imaginary component of the equation must be 0. So imaginary part equals to 0. Separating the real and imaginary parts of equation 7 and combining with 8, we get that they have added this equation and this equation. Okay. So what you will get here, a is equal to 1 at angle 120, a square is equal to 1 at angle 240. That can be written as cos 120 plus j sin 120 cos 240 plus j 240. Instead of a, you write this one, and instead of a square, you write this. Okay. So after mentioning, the substitute the cos 120 value and sin 120 value. After after substituting these values, okay, cos 120, sin 120, and also cos 240, sin 240. After separating the real part and the imaginary part, you make the matrix. Okay, you equalize this. Okay. Separate the terms b by b, susceptance and also the conductance. You separate the terms. Okay, this may be real part, imaginary part, like that you need to separate. So you will get the this in terms of matrix, that is 0 minus 3 by 2, 3 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2, 1 1 1. Okay, when you multiply also you will get the same equation, this one. Okay, when you multiply you will get the same equation, this equation only they have written in terms of matrix. Okay, so when you multiply, you might have seen here GAB minus GAB, here plus GAB it is there. If you take to the right side or this side, it will become minus, so minus GAB. That is GBC. Okay, 1 by 2 GBC, minus 1 by 2 GBC. If it come to the right side, minus will become plus. Okay, so plus 1 by 2. Here also this these are the three real parts. Okay, real parts is first line. Okay, first column, first row. Okay, next to imaginary parts, imaginary parts is only 2. Okay, imaginary parts is only 2. So first one is 0, because here GAB imaginary part is not there, so 0. So imaginary part j square root of 3 by 2 minus, because it will come to the this side, minus square root of 3 by 2. This is minus, it will become plus square root of 3 by 2 GCA. Okay, so like that we need to separate, and they have written in the terms of matrix. Okay, if we solve this matrix, because if we take this as a matrix as A, then if we want to multiply with this matrix, then what we should take, A inverse is equal to, it will become A inverse adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. You solve this, you will get this matrix, that is 0 minus 1 1 1 0 minus 1 minus 1 1 0. Okay, determinant you will get square root of 3. Okay, b by ab2 is equal to b by bc2. Okay, this will be similar. Combining equation 3 and equation 10. Okay, this is equation 10. Now we know the value of this. Okay, so equation 3 is what it is there. Equation 3. So equation 2. So equation 2, this is a b by ab1 plus b by ab2. Okay, this equation, we know the value of this, and now we know the value of this. Just add. Okay, so if we had that both in equation 2, we get that susceptance that will be balanced. Okay, the unbalanced load as B by AB, B by BC, B by CA, that is equal to minus BAB, BBC, BCA plus 1 by 3. This equation they have added. Okay, and this equation they have added here. Okay. This is the first module. In next class, we shall discuss the second module topics. And this is a small module. I'll provide the notes in the description box you can download the notes. Okay, if you have any queries you can comment me on the YouTube. Okay.